Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Michael Cross here, and I just hope that you find presentations here interesting. And also, please subscribe and also hit the bell, because then you're able to be notified when new videos come out. And there's going to be a lot of new videos in the very near future. A little background: I've taught international relations and international finance for a good number of years. And, one of the things I've always been interested in is demographics and how that affects a society. And I've noticed that recently there's been more and more said about the need for more babies in our society. Elon Musk, Jack Ma, both very intelligent, very successful business people, have said this is a problem. And other people are starting to come out more and more, noting that we really have a serious shortage of young couples getting married and having kids. Now, traditionally, in human society, you didn't have to really worry about this too much. Men, women, they got together. Then they get together in more physical ways, and then they start getting pregnant and having babies. And as those people age, and so forth, they pass on, but the children they produced are going to be able to carry on with the society. And you need people having children in order to carry the society on. It's not like if all of a sudden people in one country stop having kids, then people in another country are going to carry on the society that died out. No one's talking about, the Shakers had a really good system. Maybe we should try to restore the Shakers. Well, the Shakers were a religious group. They numbered in the thousands. But one of their tenets was that sex was forbidden. And so, they died out. Sometimes they adopted people, but eventually it just fizzled out. I think the last ones perished, a few years ago. But anyway, the thing is, for a society to call itself successful, it has to feed itself. It has to be able to provide good standard of living for people, but it also has to make sure that there's replacements in the future. Now, you're probably thinking, I know some people that have kids and blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, let's say you have a country that has 10 million people. If you wanted to have 10 million people in 20 years, you got to have enough kids to be born that replaces all the people who die in that 20 years. If someone doesn't reproduce, if someone does not produce offspring, then that family line, that genetic line dies out. So you've cut the chain that you could go back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years that those people existed, and suddenly, boop, you're gone. And the thing is that you need a young population so that people are out there buying big ticket items like cars and homes, and making investments for their eventual retirement and so forth, because that causes money to flow out and put people to work. When people are at retirement, most of the time, they are not thinking about setting up businesses. They're not thinking about buying homes. They're not thinking about doing these things. In fact, they're starting to liquidate their assets. If they live in a big house, they often sell the house and move into an apartment, just for upkeep. If they have a car, they often just decide, we'll replace this when this one falls apart, and then we'll get it, that sort of thing. You're not going to get a lot of economic vitality there, except for maybe healthcare, which, yes, a lot of older people have to pay a lot of money for healthcare. Society has to pay money for healthcare. Ultimately, though, thinking about that, you need a tax base. You need people paying taxes in order to maintain the standard of living, the needed goods and services for those older people. And, some people say, well, yeah, but we'll just have more immigration. Well, fine, that can offset some of that. But we're starting to see this trend in all of the countries of the world. Now, there are some countries, they're still growing a lot, but they're starting not to as much as they used to. And many countries that we used to associate, like Mexico, we used to associate, oh yeah, they have like lots of babies. Now they don't. Their birth rate is at or actually below replacement. India is now below replacement. China is desperately trying to get people to have more kids. They want to get this reversed because they understand what the consequences are of it not being reversed. So they're looking at it economically. I don't think they're sitting there going, oh, there's just not enough little kids, out in the playground. No, the Chinese planners, they're thinking, no, if there's not a lot of little kids playing in the playground, there's not going to be a lot of college graduates in 15, 20 years who will then assume the positions of doctors and business people and workers and people in their military and these kinds of things. You need that. And so ultimately, even though people have been thinking, well, wait, what about the environment? You know what happens to a country when its economy starts to kind of go down? Which could happen if the demographics shift too much towards, people having, just a lot of old people and not enough young. You don't have as much money to put into research and development to be able to offset environmental problems. And that is a problem. And also you don't have as much money to put into facilities, everything from sewage treatment plants to alternative energy. You don't have the money to spare to do that unless you have a tax base. So, people can say, well, we can just have robots do all of that. Do you really want to replace the human race with robots? Because robots don't have to buy anything, okay? And so, therefore, they're not creating new things. We need humans to be out there as entrepreneurs and creative individuals and being able to make the world a better place. And how do you do that? I think governments need to really take a close look at policies and determine which policies seem to be kind of pulling down the ability of younger people to start families, and which policies could be implemented that would facilitate growth in reproduction. And, could be a lot of times countries have been like, well, we don't want to interfere in people's personal decisions. But the personal does take on the societal. What takes place with individuals affects a society, and you can't get around that. Okay, whether it's sociologically or economically. So anyway, this is something I would encourage people to look up and read more about. Take a look at some of the stuff that Elon Musk has said about this and others. It's not just the business people talking about this. There's demographers, there's social scientists and so forth that are thinking, things are looking kind of desperate right now in these regards. So anyway, that's all for now on the demographics. I will catch you later in another video. Take care. Bye.